All right, welcome to part 4 of lesson 1.4. So this is going to be the last page, and this gives you an opportunity for you to try some of these problems. So go and work through these problems, pause the video as needed, and then I'll go over them afterwards. I recommend working one at a time. So pause the video, work the first problem, unpause it to watch the answer, and then pause it again to work the next one. But I'm just going to work through all 4 of these problems, and you just pause the video as needed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. My version had an error in it, so it should be fixed on yours. So the first step I'm going to do is flipping, and so that means this -7 needs to flip over to this side. So I still have the 14, and the -7 is going to become a +7. And we still have the 3x here. And now that I've done my flipping and I remembered to change my sign, I'm going to combine. So 14 plus 7 is 21. It's an alliance of positives. Bring down the 3x, and now I've done my combining. I'm down to the last step, which is dividing, and we always divide by whatever's in front of x. So we'll take the 3x and divide it by 3, and the 21, and divide it by 3. We get x equals 7. So 7 is our answer there. Let's go ahead and double check it real quick. So I'll pull out the calculator. We'll clear that out. So we have 3 times 7 minus 7. 14. Works. So we now know that that answer is correct. Let's go to the next one. So for this problem here, I have -2x here and a 6. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. What do I need to flip? Well, I need to flip this 6. Notice I'm covering up the -2x. It's a very common mistake. I see people trying to associate this negative with this 6. This 6 is positive. There's nothing in front of it. That means it's a +6. This negative only refers to what comes after it. So I'm going to flip the 6 to this side. And so I will have a 14 minus 6. And then what's left? That 6 is gone. I still have a -2x. This is probably one of the most common mistakes I see, is people not associating this negative with the 2x and dropping it here, or thinking it's attached to the x and putting a +6 here, thinking it was already negative, and it's not. So this is what it should look like. Now let's go and do our combining. 14 minus 6, that is a war. Positives win. You would have 8 left over. Then we'll bring down the -2x, and now we're at the dividing stage, and we always divide by whatever's in front of x. If there's a -2 in front of it, we're going to divide both sides by -2. So those cancel, and I'm left with 1x, and then 8 divided by -2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and there's only one negative, so there's nothing to cancel it, right? You need a pair to cancel, so this is going to be -4. I'm going to run that through the calculator real quick. So I have 6 minus 2, and in parentheses we put our -4, and then we should get 14 as our answer, and we do. So that does work. All right. For our next problem, we have x's on both sides, and we have numbers on both sides. So we're going to have to flip for both of these. And I find a really nice way to do this is just go to each one and say, does it stay or does it flip? 4x, I like where it is. It stays. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. The -5, do I want it on this side or do I want to flip it? We absolutely want to flip it. So -5 flips over, becomes +5. So I'm just going to put it right there. So our equal sign. The x, do we want to leave it here or do we want to flip it? Well, we want all the x's on the same side. So we're going to flip x over here. It becomes -x. And then the 7 stays. Now, if I just put a 7 here, that looks like 57, or it's a 5 and a 7 with a weird space. You have to link terms by either a plus or a minus. Since it's already a +7, you have to put that plus in there. All right, we're done with our flipping. Now we can do combining. Over here, is this a war or an alliance? Looks like a war to me. 4 positives versus 1 negative. That negative will take out one of the positives, and we'll be left with 3 positives, so 3x. And then this is an alliance of positives, right? 5 and 7 make 12. And now we're to the last step. We're going to divide. So we divide by whatever's in front of x, which in this case is 3. So divide this side by 3, and divide this side by 3. So that is just 1x, and this is a 4. Once again, you can run them through the calculator. I did the first two, but you don't need to see me do that again. You can check them on your own. And let's go to the next one. Okay, so I'm going to bring down my equal sign. I'm going to use the same process as I did before. Does this flip or stay? Well, I think we'll keep the x's on this side, so we'll leave the 4x here. What about this 3? Do we want to flip it or does it stay? Well, it doesn't have an x, so we want it on the other side. So we'll take 3x, we'll flip it, it becomes negative 3. I'm sorry, I said x and there's no x there. We take positive 3, we flip it, it becomes negative 3. Now we have a negative 2x. Do we want to flip it or do we want to keep it? Well, we want all the x's on this side, so it is going to stay. We did not flip it, it is still on the left side. And then the 7, well, the 7 is on the side we want it, so we're going to have to put it after the 3. And once again, you have to put something in between here. It is a plus 7, so we need the plus sign there. All right, we've done our flipping. Let's do our combining. This looks like a war to me. There's more positives than negative, so there'll be 2 positives left over, so we get a 2x. And on the right side, we have another war. There's more positives than negatives, so the positives win, and they'll win by 4. And now our last step, divide by whatever's in front of x. Since there's a 2 in front of it, we're going to divide that side by 2, which means we must divide this side by 2. So x equals 2 is our answer. All right. So the question is, the last 2 questions is just what must we do? What must we remember when flipping, and what must we remember when dividing, in the dividing step? How do you know what to divide by? So go ahead and write down what you think those answers are there. Okay, hopefully you have those down. I'm going to show you what I wrote down. When you're flipping, don't forget to change the sign. It's not moving. We're not moving it to the side. We're flipping tiles over, right? Which will change the sign. And then in the division step, and you've heard me say it a bunch of times now working these problems, you divide by whatever's in front of the x, right? And that'll be your last step. All right, that concludes this lesson and the 4th part and the entire lesson of 1.4.